Just wanted to talk, that's all.
How's it going, everybody? It is Thursday, August 14th, off night for the New York Yankees, and perhaps they need it as they head to St. Louis. The younger fans will occasionally ask me what it was like to watch the 90s Yankees every single night, a team that won 3 championships in the 90s, 96, 98, and 99. They also won in 2000. Pretty damn good in 97. And in 95, they had this special chemistry. Down the stretch, they had a killer instinct that I think that even this team lacks. And what does a killer instinct even really mean? What does that look like, right? I think the 98 team probably had it the most of any of those teams, honestly. It's difficult to put into words. It's an energy, it's a vibe, it's a chemistry between the players, it's an alignment with the mission, and unselfishness. You'll see teams get insanely hot from time to time, right? The Athletics had that 20-game win streak. The Indians broke that win streak in 2017 before they were the Guardians. The Rockies went about 20-1 down the stretch in 2007 en route to getting to the World Series. You don't have to be an all-time great team to put together a great stretch or to have that chemistry or killer instinct that helps you go on a red-hot run, which is what the Yankees really need. If you go back and look at those teams, watch their games, some of these win streak teams or even some of the 95 Yankees teams or the 98 team for sure, what you'll see is they do a lot of the little things right. And it's not just doing them. They have pride in them, right? They take pride in moving a guy from second to third with less than 2 outs, right? Or with nobody out to get the runner over. They take a lot of pride in getting that run in from third with less than 2 outs, sacrifice flies or productive outs. The little things, running the bases well, not making errors. They took a lot of pride in that, especially in 96. I remember when Joe Torre took over, all the talk was, the Yankees are playing a National League style of baseball, right? Where it was bunting and hitting and running, and you're playing a really cohesive team game. That's not something they do anymore, right? And we hear O'Neill and Girardi talk about it all the time on the broadcast, about how everybody was on the same page, everybody did the little things and knew the little things it took to win. Because I think it was a collection of winners. I think it was a collection of guys who knew how to win, who were scouted and brought in by a team of executives and front office people who wanted to win as bad as anybody. George Steinbrenner. He used to be great at finding winners. Okay? He could spot them. Gene Michael could spot them. Gary Denbo could spot them. Now, Steinbrenner didn't always have the patience to let them develop. Gene Michael did. Gary Denbo could turn a guy into a hitter and keep him hitting. I think this modern Yankees team sees numbers on a stat sheet more so than competitive DNA, right? Because winning isn't just a skill. It's an attitude. It's a refusal to accept mediocrity. It's a refusal to accept losing as an option. It means that you'll fight and claw to scratch for that extra inch, like they say in that movie, Any Given Sunday, right? Football movie, but the message still resonates. And people forget. Coaches and managers have to have the same killer instinct, the same winning mentality. You can't expect players to have focus if the coaches aren't focused. Like, where was that coach when Jazz was wandering off of first base the other day? Where was he? And that's why he got chewed out. I think you need more winners, people who have won, past tense, involved in the organization, in the front office, on the coaching staff, and yes, probably the manager's chair. Championship managers have a cutthroat edge to them. They're not afraid to bench a guy if he's not hustling. Executives aren't afraid to pull the trigger on a trade that ruffles a few feathers. Yankees fans back in the day did not want to trade Eric Milton for Chuck Knobloch, right? That's a move that Cashman had to make. And then Milton got off to a really good start with the Twins. And I feel like Cashman since then has been really hesitant to trade his top prospects. He traded Jesus Montero, but at that point it was pretty much clear that Montero wasn't going to fit in. This is a guy who eventually threw an ice cream sandwich at a man. He was just not a good guy. But Cashman, could have gotten Verlander at the right time. He could have traded for Garrett Cole at the right time. And he didn't. Because I don't think he has that killer instinct that some GMs have. AJ Preller, I think, has a killer instinct. And they're ahead of the Dodgers last I checked. I thought bringing in Brian Sabian might be the help that this team needed with team building. It has not. It has not. He I don't know what his job is, but it hasn't made much of a difference. This team still feels corporate to me. It still feels sterile. Even with Beards, even with guys like Jazz Chisholm sprinkled into the mix, the Yankees still feel like a corporate, sterile entity. They need a manager who has already won, who knows how to win in the modern era. Same with the GM. They need a GM who has won in the modern era, who understands how to marry analytics with people. Joe Madden and Theo Epstein in Chicago, right? Those guys didn't just crunch numbers, they built a culture. That's what's missing here. Coincidentally, I think both those guys could be available at the right price. You got to have the guts to make the right moves and to know which moves to make, It stunned people when the Yankees traded Roberto Kelly for Paul O'Neill, a center fielder for a right fielder, or at that time a left fielder possibly. You let Mike Stanley walk, a guy who hit 20 home runs, who hit 3 home runs in a game. Fan favorite for Joe Girardi. And you know what? Both of those moves worked out. Paul O'Neill became an essential part of the dynasty. Joe Girardi got the big hit. You got to hire the people who know how to find these guys. And I don't think that's something that Steinbrenner has done. And until you clean house, both the manager and the GM, I don't think there's going to be a lot that changes. You can't spreadsheet your way through to a dynasty. If you could, the Yankees would have done it by now. You win with people. And I think the Yankees have the wrong people in place. Let's take some voicemails.
It's just a reaction.
Here's Chain.
Hey, Derek, it's Chain. I think all of us Yankee fans know why Milwaukee has the best record in Major League Baseball right now, because sometime there in December, about the start of the owners meeting in Dallas. As a matter of fact, I was in the area at the time of the meetings. They traded that Devin Williams to the New York Yankees and got the cancer out of their bullpen. I think the Yankees need to do the same. Talk to you later. Bye.
You can't win!
I appreciate the call. It should be noticed that Devin Williams was actually pretty good for the Brewers. He was one of the best relief pitchers in baseball for the Brewers. Now, with the Yankees, I feel like he has folded from day one. I feel like he has completely imploded under the pressure. And hey, that's not a knock on the guy. I mean, some guys just don't handle pressure. We're all different types of human beings, right? You got to be in the job that works for you. Not everybody wants to work in a high-intensity job night after night. And Devin Williams has shown that the moment is too big for him a lot of times. He loses command of the strike zone. He serves up home runs. He gets down on himself. And that's why when you put him in with a big lead, or a big deficit, and there's no pressure, he dominates. It happens time and time again. It's clear as day. Here's Jerry.
Derek, my name's Jerry. I watch you all the time on YouTube. What I'm trying to figure out here is, how does this guy manage? He used Dos Santos yesterday. Now, the bullpen had fresh arms. He only used 2 relief pitchers yesterday, I believe. The day before yesterday. Okay, and what I don't understand is why would he bring DeSantis in when he has all fresh arms sitting there? I mean, he literally doesn't understand the game of baseball. For someone who's been in a family that's been baseball, I don't understand how this guy's a manager. It just doesn't make any sense.
That's what we were going back to with feel for the game versus spreadsheets, right? You look at the spreadsheets and you see that De Los Santos had a 1.57 ERA coming into the appearance. But if you're going by feel of the game, it's a tight game. You're not doing anything against Ryan. You're going to have to hold it for a couple of innings. Who do you trust to do that? That's when you go to one of your high leverage guys. I think maybe Devin Williams. I mean, not Devin Williams. Wow.
You can't win!
Luke Weaver. I think maybe Luke Weaver would have been the guy there, not Devin Williams. What am I thinking? What am I saying? What's coming out of my mouth?
Hey, Derek, this is William from Florida. So I'm just paying attention to the standing and to the schedule that the team has left. We technically 6 games back from the East. We are third in the wild card, 1 game over the Guardians, and we are behind Boston and Seattle. Now we do have 41 games left, 7 versus Boston, 3 versus Toronto, and combined we have 20 games versus the Nationals, White Sox, Baltimore, and Minnesota. The other team that we will face in that stretch will be Houston and Detroit. My question to you is, does this Yankees team have a miracle run in them left for this?
I don't think that they have a miracle run, but I don't think they need a miracle run to make the playoffs. I think they need to play slightly better than they're playing now to make the playoffs. But do we really get excited about being the 3rd wildcard team? Is that what this franchise has fallen to? Now, a miracle run, that would be winning the division. That would be coming back from 6.5 down or 6 down, whatever it is. I don't see them doing it. I don't think that they have the personnel. I don't think that they have the pitching. I don't think that they have the energy. Just call about Yankees that could be gone.
Hey, what's up, Derek? I know probably pretty soon you'll do, 10 Yankees who won't be back next season. It might be a little early, but I just wanted to give you some of my predictions on that. I really think that we shouldn't go for Kyle Tucker. Honestly, if you look at his numbers in Bellinger, I'd rather want Bellinger back because he'll be cheaper. He can actually play all the outfield plus first base. He's already done it with the Yankees. And the other thing I really think we shouldn't do is re-sign Trent Grisham. I'm not saying because I don't like him. I just think a lot of players, when it's their contract year, they tend to play up. We don't know if Trent could keep this up. And I feel that also is going to stunt the growth of Spencer Jones. Like, Spencer Jones should be in the outfield next season with Jason Dominguez, with Aaron Judge. Bellinger should play first, and Rice should catch. That should be at least the lineup for next year. And
look, I'm going to go ahead and agree with you and stop you right there because it goes on for a little bit longer. I think that's a pretty solid lineup. I want to see what Spencer Jones can do. I mean, given 30 home runs this year so far, I mean, it's August 14th, so he might hit 35 or more. If he goes on another run like he had, he might get close to 40. But I want to see what he can do. I think maybe we'll see him in September, but if the Yankees are trying to make the playoffs, you're not going to be able to play him that much. It's not going to be the time to get rookies in there. We're seeing right now Dominguez isn't being allowed to develop. I do want to see the young guys play every day. I want to see Dominguez in there at left field every day. I also want them to retain Bellinger. I think he's the exact type of player this team has lacked and that they need. A guy who shortens up his swing with 2 strikes, who avoids strikeouts, who run the bases well, who hustles down the line. I mean, he beat out that ground ball to first the other night. Who comes out with big clutch defensive plays, who can hit you the big home run and put one in the right field second deck and get the stadium going. We got to keep that guy. If he plays first base and Rice catches, I can get on board with that. If that means Austin Wells loses his job, hey, play better, should have hit better. This is the major leagues, buddy. Got a call here about Jazz.
Hey, Derek. This is Jordan from Orlando. My call kind of focuses around Jazz, and especially his offensive approach lately. He mentioned a while back he was doing a 70% effort kind of thing. It was working. It was great. We all loved it. But I feel like he's lost that a little bit since. I see him up in big spots, swinging out of his shoes, and it's just not. It's a strikeout instead of a single double. We'll take a single and double, obviously. So I think if he could start adapting that back again, and if he could also add Cody Bellinger's two-strike approach, he'd be unstoppable. He'd be on the base all the time, being a pest, stealing bases, manufacturing runs. That's what this team needs, and I think it can start with Jazz. All right, thanks.
I like Jazz as a player. I know he's kind of polarizing because he's flashier than most Yankees have been. I don't mind it. I mind it when you're not playing well. When he was hitting 180 and had all that swag, I didn't love it. But I think that after he got to 19 home runs, he started pressing to get to 20 for whatever reason. It looked like he started swinging for home runs. His swing got a little bit loopy. Over his last 20 games or so, he's hitting about 200 with minimal power. Matter of fact, I think I wrote down his numbers here because it's part of my next segment. Yeah, over his last 20 games, he's hitting 203 with 3 home runs. I think he's due. I think he's starting to iron it out, and it wouldn't surprise me if he hits this weekend in St. Louis. Here's Brian.
What's going on, Derek? Man, it was a tough loss last night. I thought they actually had a chance there, but it goes back to the old saying, which I think Boone wears this hat very well. When somebody shows you who they are, you trust them. And Boone is a dog shit game manager. He is a bad bullpen manager, and he makes terrible decisions time and time again. Whenever he picks up the pen phone, it's always almost a nightmare with this guy. I think he's a bad game manager, a bad pen manager. It's time to move on from here. He's consistently getting outmanaged by people that have less teams than him, including Alex Cora. I don't know, man. I just want to hear your thoughts, but should have won that game.
I agree with you. I think that he is a bad game manager. I think the bullpen, in the past, he's been better at it, but this year it's been a disaster. I thought he pushed a lot of the right buttons last year on the way to the World Series. I thought he relied on Luke Weaver maybe a little bit too much, but Luke Weaver got it done, and he kept going to him. But I agree with you. I think he's a bad game manager. I think, like people said, he doesn't have a feel for the game. I think he's a spreadsheet guy. I think he's a people guy. I think he's got a good feel for people and what makes people tick. But I don't think he's got that competitive killer instinct that we talked about. Here's Mary Beth.
Hey, Derek, it's Mary Beth, and you know me. You do know me. I'm here in California. I'm hiking. You should come out, hang with TK, stay with him, see some of these fabulous hikes that we have. My dogs are so happy. The Yankees. Okay, it's really disappointing they didn't win yesterday. I actually love the Yankees. I am a fan. I don't believe they're going to do anything this season. And I do think that they don't work as a team. There are very good athletes on it. And I do think it's because the manager doesn't have the wherewithal to get them to play as a team. We should have.
100%. First of all, on your comment about going to stay in TK, the last thing in the world I want to do is sleep on TK's couch. I would definitely get a hotel if I go out there. But second of all, my back can't handle it. I can't sleep on a couch anymore. It's nothing against TK's couch. I'm sure it's wonderful. But the manager does have the job of getting these guys to play cohesively as a unit, and you're not wrong that Boone has struggled to do that. All right, quick word from our sponsor. We're going to do our weekend picks here. So first of all, if you want to play along with me, the Nostra Derek picks, download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use the code FOUL. That's code FOUL for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets instantly when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. So I'll walk you through my picks right now. Put yours in the chat. And when I finish going through mine, we'll put some of yours on the screen. I think Giancarlo Stanton is hitting a couple of home runs this weekend. You know what's interesting is he almost got traded to the St. Louis Cardinals before he came to the Yankees. He actually had to reject the trade. But over his last 30 games, he's crushing the ball. He's hitting on the season now 299, which is, when was the last time we saw Stanton hit anywhere near 300? Not since coming to the Yankees. I think he hit about 280 one year. maybe a couple of times. But 159 OPS plus this year. The other night, he went 4 for 5 with a home run, a double, and 3 RBIs in that 9-1 win over the Twins. That's the best night he's had at the dish in 2 years. 2 years. Fastballs are getting destroyed. He's one of the few guys on this team that I think has that killer instinct, and you can see it in the playoffs. Jazz Chisholm, I think he is going deep. I think he's going to run into one. Again, over his last 20 games, hitting .203, 15 hits, 3 home runs, 7 RBIs. I think he's better than that. I think he's going to come out of it soon. He's starting to iron out the swing. We're seeing it get a little bit less loopy the last couple of nights. He hit some balls hard, made some outs. I think he's going to hit a home run this weekend. Max Fried, he's going to pick up win number 13. I know his last time out, he was not great. He's been mostly an average pitcher for the last few months, and over the last month or so, he's been even worse than that. He's had a 6 ERA since the beginning of July, so he has got to pitch better. I think that's going to turn around. He's pitched many, many times against the Cardinals. He is going to dominate on Saturday. And then Luis Gil. I think Luis Gil is going to pick up his first win of the season. 5 1/3 innings, 2 runs last time out. He had 7 strikeouts, just 1 walk. I thought that he started to kind of put it together and feel like the Luis Gil that we saw so many times last year. You saw him with the confidence, shaking his head yes as he was going off the field. But I think that Luis Gil is going to dominate tomorrow night. So I've got the Yankees actually taking 2 out of 3 in this series. And those are my picks. Get yours in the chat. We'll put them up. We're going to wrap things up. But first, a quick little bit of business from DraftKings.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY at 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas. 21 and over. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio.
Volp E6 says, bring back the futon. I actually used to like sleeping on futons in college, and then we had one for a little while that we put in our dog room, we had a puppy, for the puppy to kind of like hang on. And I tried to sleep on that. One time we had like a little backyard camp out, and I dragged it into the tent, and I've never woken up in so much pain in my life. This is not that long ago. This is 4 or 5 years ago. And my back was like stuck in the same position for days. It was just not right. But Zachary says the 3 home runs in the Derby messed Jazz up. Yeah, I mean, I was worried that he would come out of the break and be in a slump if he tried to hit home runs. But, he was probably practicing for the Derby by trying to lift balls and, take that uppercut swing. If he goes back to that short line drive contact swing at, the 70% of his max effort, I think he'll get back to hitting like he was when he was really cooking. I am off. I'm going to go see Nobody 2, the new Bob Odenkirk movie, and I've been fasting all day, so this theater has food. I'm going to eat like a total moron. I'm just going to popcorn, milkshake, maybe a little personal pizza. I'm just going to go nuts. But anyway, thanks for watching. Be sure to like, subscribe, all that good stuff. And we'll be back tomorrow after the game, Yankees versus Cardinals. We'll see you then. If you enjoyed this content, please hit that like button and subscribe. Check out NYYDesigns.shop for some great merch. Support our sponsors. It helps keep the show going. And you can find us on all major audio platforms, so be sure to subscribe there too. But most importantly, come back again soon. We'll see you next time.